Hey YouTube! Do you want to play a game? That's the creepy movie quote, right? I haven't actually seen that movie. But anyway, I have a game for you. So hashtag tarot characters. Please record a VR to this. Or if you don't have a YouTube channel, you can always comment. Or do it on Instagram for that matter. But this tarot characters game idea came for me from about 6 months ago, I think. There was a hashtag going around to do Fuck, Marry, Kill with the tarot, and I thought it would be interesting to do kind of a variation on that with some different prompts. So I came up with some ideas of prompts, and these are for any tarot card. You can interpret this however you want, so it can be like any figure in a card, so it could be like a person that's in one of the minors. It could be specific to a deck. It might be interesting, kind of fun. Or it could just be the card. And in this case, I'm not specific to the deck. In fact, there's some characters that like I dislike or might dislike in reality that this version, the Modern Witch Tarot, I actually probably like, but that's okay. So any character basically that shows up. So whether it's somebody like a major arcana like the Fool, or it could be a court card, or it could be like the person in the Two of Swords. Doesn't matter. But these are the prompts. I'm going to go through my responses, but I'm also going to just leave the in the description the list so you can copy paste if you do your own response. So let's get started. First one. What is the card you do not want to meet in a dark alley? So for this, I chose, where is he? The King of Swords. Now this is the one that I actually thought of when I just said, this example I would totally meet in a dark alley. This person seems awesome. But in general, the King of Swords I would not want to meet in a dark alley because I feel like the obvious answer to this was the person in the Seven of Swords, but I wanted to do something a little different. So for me, I don't know that I'd want to meet the King of Swords because he just seems so like, I don't know what, sure of himself in such a way that if he wants something from me, he can probably get it. And I say he because I think actually other versions of this card that aren't a white man I would totally want to meet. But if you take the sort of archetype or the like sort of standard version of the King of Swords, if he's like an old white guy, don't want to meet him in a dark alley. Number 2, what is the card or the character that you would take to Disney World? So if you had a trip to Disney World, who's coming with? I picked the Page of Cups. This might be an obvious choice, but and this is a fun Page of Cups, but really any Page of Cups, because they're so much into their inner child, they're playful and fun, and I think would help me to bring out those traits in myself. So I would like to go to Disney World with the Page of Cups. Number 3, card that you want with you when someone close to you dies. So if someone close to you dies, who do you want with you? And over this one, I picked the Knight of Cups. So I think there is like one interpretation of this card is very like, you know, head in the clouds, whatever, like dreamy romance version. But that's not how I think of the Knight of Cups. And I think it's Lindsay Mack that says the Knight of Cups is kind of like a doula. And that stuck with me. So I always think of the Knight of Cups as just somebody who's really good at holding space, doula-ing, like if you need a cup of tea, they'll get you a cup of tea. If you need a hug, they'll get you a hug. They'll get whatever you need. So if somebody close to me were to die, I think this is the character that I would find to be most, you know, responsive to what I needed and I wouldn't feel guilty about, because I think they just have a way, the Knight of Cups has a way of giving without making you feel guilty about it. And that's beautiful. So that was 3. 4, what is the card that you want to drink or get high with? And of course you can substitute this for anything of choice. If you don't have a drug of choice, it could be just be silly with or whatever. But the card that I would partake in substances with is the Queen of Wands. 1, because she's such a witch, I can see it being like some sort of a magical experience. I haven't actually, you know, tried like using substances specifically to enter a state for magic, but if you were going to, I think the Queen of Wands would be a good person to have with you. And even if it's just regular, like, let's party, she's badass, and I would totally make out with her. So when I get high, I want to do some things making out, we'll call it. And that is who I want with me. Thanks. No more said on that subject. 5. What's the card that you would give a friendship bracelet and a map of your treehouse? Who gets your friendship bracelet and a map of your treehouse? And I picked the Fool. So the Fool can come into my pillow fort, my treehouse. We're gonna be BFFs. When I think of the Fool, I think of specific actual friends in my life who are super spontaneous and adventurous and like bring that out in me and will go on crazy adventures that most people would call not very adult. So that's the Fool for me. Not that the Fool is immature, but just that the Fool is able to access that part of themselves. Okay, number 6. This is very important. Which card would you let borrow your car? I don't have a car currently, but I will soon. And for most people, borrowing your car is a little nerve-wracking. So who would you trust with your car? And I picked the Emperor. I feel like the Emperor would not only not wreck your car, but would probably pick the optimum time at which to arrive in the parking lot to get a good spot. Would remember the spot, tell you where it is. I think the Emperor would take good care of your car. That was 6. So 7. The card that you would ask for advice when you are dealing with a tough relationship of any kind. If you're having some challenges with somebody, who would you go to for advice? And I would pick the Queen of Swords. Now, I think the Queen of Swords would give pretty specific advice, but I am not somebody who necessarily needs a lot of like emotional, I mean, sometimes I do, but I'm not looking for a shoulder to cry on. I'm really, when I need advice, I'm like, let's talk through it. Let's write it down, pros and cons. So I think the Queen of Swords would match that style pretty well, would tell me how it is. Sometimes you just need somebody to be like, look, like, here are the facts. Help you sort out truth from like your brain monkeys, sort of. And I think the Queen of Swords would be extra good at that. Slice through. Okay, the last question, the last prompt is number 8. What card or character would you take on a shopping spree? I would take the 9 of Pentacles. I guess this question, it depends on whether you want to be encouraged or discouraged, but I think the 9 of Pentacles is actually an interesting choice. Like, this person in the 9 of Pentacles, I think, would be a good person for a shopping spree because it's a good mix. So I don't think that they would let you buy 9 million things you don't need, that you don't like, or like real, like low quality stuff. I mean, of course, everyone doesn't have access to funds, so no judgment on lower quality stuff, but just if you have the money and rather than spending X amount of money on 10 cheap things, I think they would encourage you to get the thing that's going to last. So they'd be really good at helping you find like the perfect buys. And this character is into like luxury, but like particularly like self-care type stuff. So I think they would be good at like encouraging you to buy the things that really would like light you up and make you feel good. So those are my responses, but don't let them influence you. Use the hashtag tarot characters, hashtag tarot characters, and respond to these prompts, which will be in the description below. And of course, I appreciate it if you link back to my channel, but you don't have to. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy such tomfoolery. I put out a new tarot video pretty much every Tuesday and something else on Fridays.